So for contacts, same thing. And what I want you to do now is I want you to actually click on your contacts, and I want you see the A through Z on the right, and I want you to tap the number down below. Oops, my little fat fingers. It pops it down, all the way down below, and I have 1,615 contacts, okay? So if I open my contacts on my phone, my computer, not my phone. Let's see. Scroll all the way down. So I have 5 contacts that are weird. So 1610 on my computer. I actually, I'll put shortcut things in here that actually aren't a name and a number in my phone. I shouldn't do that. So mine are 5 off. But that's how you know that they're syncing.
So if they're not, if I've got like 563 on here and a lot more on here, why?
So most likely, go to your Gmail, into your contacts, and turn it off. Okay? But don't hit OK, because then it's going to erase it. So what you need to do is go on your Gmail, which again, I don't even know. I don't use my Gmail I just don't. Ours is back through Network Solutions. And I would export your contacts out of Gmail. You can do this on your computer. Import them into iCloud. And then get them all on iCloud, turn Gmail off, and then watch this. In here, you run for duplicates. So you go to Cards, look for duplicates. And I might have a few. I have 9 duplicate cards and 2 duplicated entries were found. So I'm going to merge. So this has gotten very complex with contacts, okay? Ever since the last update, Siri pulls everything. And like there's things where like I'll go to look for something and it's not in my contacts, but if I search a name, it pulls it from the email. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right information. And here's what I mean. Like in our signature, all of our email signatures, I have our office number, my cell phone, her cell phone. And what has started to happen is Siri, because she sends most of the emails from her computer, picks up her phone number, and then it automatically, people will save the V card, I don't even know what that stands for, in their iPhone, and then they think they're texting me, but it's really texting her. Yeah. So, like, there's a few, remember when we first met?
Yeah.
And you're like, I texted you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I did. And it had my name, but it had Allison's phone number.
Yeah.
And then there would be times where she would just take care of it and she wouldn't tell me, which 90% of the time that's okay. But there are a few times where it's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I need to know these things. Like,
it's because your email signature, like my phone automatically
exactly.
added it. Like, do you want to add this contact? It's like, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you really, for businesses, like you got to pay attention to what you're doing. I've also had people think they were texting me, and they were not texting me. They're texting somebody else, and have said some things. So you got my golden rule, and even when I get irritated, I try not to text or email anything that if it were printed on the front page of the newspaper. That's what my daddy always said. Now it's on the front page of Facebook, right? So it's like, don't do that. Like, just don't do that. You know?
Can you do the merge thing one more time?
Yes. So you go to the card. Very, very top. Guys, also your top up here, you got to make sure that you're actually clicked on the program. Watch. So this is like spoil alert, but see how I have these windows over here? This is like a $10 program I got. So I can like pop different things and then have use of both sides. Like I'm kind of psycho about my desktop and it being organized.
What is that called?
It is called Window Tidy. I love it. But if you get window tidy, you've got to also get this one if you go in and out of TVs or desktops. So what used to happen, I'll have like 30 projects and they're all organized, and then I unplug it from my big monitor and go to a meeting and the windows go everywhere. Oh my God. So I Google, and then there's something called Display Made. So every time I unplug, I hit save all window positions and it saves them all. So if your computer ever does something that you're like, just Google it. There's an app for everything. I think I spent like $20 and probably saved myself hundreds.
Wait, Windows Media and what?
Display Made. So it cleans up your desktops.
You're merging. Yeah.
So you go to card and then look for duplicates. But again, go through all of your accounts and see how many contacts, and I promise you, you've probably, if you have 4 different accounts, you probably have different contacts going to different places. The other important thing, depending on what you want to do, again, you got to tell it where it's going to go, guys. So like, go into your settings. Like I'm going to go into, actually, contacts. Where is it? Settings. Okay, settings, contacts. Tell it where to go. My default account is iCloud.
Mine's Gmail, so that's the problem.
Well, and again, as long as you're doing it on all 3 devices, fine. I still don't trust Google as much as iCloud when it comes to syncing real time.
But I can't just go in and change this to iCloud now. I want to make sure I've done all the others.
You need to export them out of Gmail, import them into iCloud, and then turn off Gmail, and then run the duplicates. Because like what mine will do, it'll save an email, just because I get lazy and I'm like, yes, save it. Because I want my emails. And then the email address is just saved, but then it's like, then they call me, and I don't realize they're already a contact in my contact. So now it's got their name, they're 2 different contacts, but one has the email and one has the phone number. So, again, guys, these things are not hard. It's just until you know what to do, you don't really know. You just kind of deal with it. Okay, so a few other little things, which I already told you guys. Don't use Post-it notes on your computer. Like, just don't do it. I don't know why they did that. So we went through notes. Same thing with reminders. For reminders, like, I use it every day multiple times, but it's only voice. So you got to make sure that your location services is turned on. So for example, if I'm like, hey Siri, remind me when I leave to get my umbrella.
Okay, I'll remind you about get my umbrella when you leave the location.
But like it says, so when I get up and start walking or driving, the reminder's going to pop up. But if it's on vibrate, like unless I'm looking at my phone, I'm not going to hear it. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, you kind of have to potty train yourself to look at it for the reminders. Or like when I leave on my way home, get this, get that. But I always, again, try to assign a deadline to it. Her email's out. Oh my God, it was like 26,000. Yours was up there when I saw you the other day too.
5,000. No, I had 8,000 last night, and I deleted them all.
So,
Serious?
but a few things you did was you used Unroll Me.
Well, yeah, I had tried to enroll me until the subscription, but
Yeah.
then I went to my friend's house who had a MacBook, and then I would type in just like Amazon, and then delete all, and then I would type in like Old Navy. Old Navy had like 400 emails alone.
So my favorite about MacMail and pulling everything into one client.
Reminders.
Again, it's like you don't know what you don't know,
So
okay?
you want all of them. All reminders.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Like, I don't know why you would just sync things back, because then you might forget something.
And then default list.
You want your default to be iCloud.
Under reminders.
You just want one list, in my opinion. Now, you can get fancy and have different reminders going to different lists, like Walmart, Target. It's like, that's just too much.
Yeah, but she's.
This is what changes my life. So this is where you really have to know what the hell you're doing when you have this many email addresses coming in. When you search for stuff, so it's like I sort by date right here. So I try every Sunday, or at least once a month, I will sort by from, which is what you were just hitting on. And so it sorts it in alphabetical order. Adam, you're at the top. those camera recommendations, amazing. My brother's like, this is expensive. I'm like, welcome to entrepreneurship, buddy.
Yeah.
But you can write that shit off.
Yeah.
And so everything is in alphabetical order now. And so there are some, like Tim Ferriss. Love Tim Ferriss, love my TED Talks. However, it's like not that important all the time. So I have an education folder that has all the people I like to listen to. And so I'll hit shift and down arrow to grab Tim's stuff. I'll take 3 fingers and drag him over to Tim. So like when I'm traveling or whatever, like I'll listen to the podcast. A lot of this stuff is all audio and video. So creatives learn by listening. My current coach begs to differ. He's like, it's different when you're holding the paper and you're feeling the page and you're turning it. And I'm like, and I'm not retaining what I'm reading.
Correct.
That's a problem. But you don't get it because our brains are different, but whatever. I'm just quiet sometimes. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so you see how powerful this is though? Like when, and the other thing is like ascending and descending, and like, so I like to do it by date. So this is at the very top. I like to see my stuff where it's at the bottom, and like my newest message is down here at the bottom. My oldest message is up here at the top. The other thing is when you send emails, you got to know where you're sending from. So when I hit new message or hit command N for new, my default account is our work email. My signature's set up. And when you want to change things, you do it here. So like I go to from, and it's like, where do I want to send it? From.
Okay.
Right? So like if I'm sending something to my mom, I choose my Gmail. You know, it's like my girls don't care what I'm telling my mama back and forth, right? So you see how you can choose different things? And also, like when you're searching, again, make sure you know what you're searching for. And up here, like sometimes I'll search things and I'm like, I know I freaking sent that, and I'll be up here in the trash. I don't know why it does that. Like I'm used to using this over here, but then sometimes when I search, it like pops me to something different. So it's like my flagged stuff. I have 108 flagged emails. Oh my God, that's exhausting. And, you know, so it should pop up here. The other thing is like I'll use different colors for different things. I started to do that, and then it became overwhelming, and I couldn't remember what color I had done what, and I'm just like, screw it. They're all important. Contacts on. So if it's just an email, I would turn all that off. So that's how you pull in your emails. Every once in a while, stuff will get, like if I'm traveling and I'm off and on Wi-Fi and a bunch of different things will get offline. So you can right click, do 2 fingers, you can synchronize your boxes, which kind of like refreshes it. You can take things offline, you can take things online. The other thing with every email account that you have, you should really go to the preferences and make sure you set it up correctly, okay? This is important. So I don't want sounds. I want things to go in a certain area. Accounts, there's nothing super important. Tell your junk mail what to do. Like, you can set up rules and all this other stuff. Fonts and colors, I hate this line thing. Every time somebody replies, it's like line. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I hate threading, organizing by thread. Hate it. Some people love it, and if you're one person and you're using, I'm going to show you. So it condenses your conversations, but to me, it's very deceiving because I operate off of arrows. And we could have 10 emails back and forth, and I see one arrow, but I didn't respond to your last email. Like, it's very deceiving. I don't like it. I'll show you how to turn it off in just a second. In terms of branding, you should really choose like a font and make sure it's the same on everything.
This is the projector. I can't see where you got that box.
Oh, yes.
Okay, what do you do with your back screen?
Oh, you guys can't see what the hell I'm doing. So you're like, what the hell? Like, where are you? I'm lost. Okay, So we're in mail. We go up to mail up here. Preferences. And you guys, you have to do this for every single email address, okay? This is not, it doesn't take care of all of them.
Where did you go? Mail and then preferences.
Top left.
Right here, preferences.
Viewing, I like to see who's copied. Classic layout, this is the newer layout on Mac. Classic is on top and message on bottom. Again, people, they do it for a reason. Your brain is trained to see your email this way on your phone, okay? It's just a plus that you get to see it on the right. So they did it. People are like, I can't stand. I'm like, you guys, like, there is a freaking psychological reason for everything. Re-potty train your brain. It's easier. You're using less brain power. You'll get less headaches. Like, seriously. So the other thing, like, tell your emails what to do. Like, load remote content. Like, if, oh my God, when I send people PDFs and they don't load remote images or content, they're like, I don't see an attachment. Where is it? I'm like, because you're not loading your stuff. But they don't know. They're like, what does that mean? So then I send a video. And now I can record it from my phone, like record my screen and show people what to do. It's very effective. Composing, really important, super important. Make sure that you send new messages from, so this is your default account. And then signatures, you really should have your signatures set up. Like, I'm going to delete this right now because we don't need that anymore. And then you can choose the same signature for all your emails if you want. There's rules, and then tea leaves, that plugs into our software, so you guys aren't going to have that. But if you have MailChimp or MyEmma or whatever your customer management information, when you get to that point, like, you can get a widget. It's usually free, and every time we send an email to somebody that we've never sent an email to before, it asks, like, do you want us to keep this in your software or not? If I'm emailing you, like, you should be in my software. You know what I mean? So does that help with email? But having it in one place, super, super, super effective. Which actually, we're a little ahead of ourselves. So email jail, okay? For years, you guys, oh my God, it is, when you're trying to run stuff, or if you're the salesperson, feeling like you always have to get your email, like, it's a really bad kind of jail feeling. Have any of y'all ever been to jail? I went to jail. I was 11. My dad put me in handcuffs. I was wearing a red jacket. I'll never forget. Because I stole gummy worms and a hairbrush from Walmart. My sister told on me. And, you know, my dad took that very seriously. He knew all the DAs and everybody downtown at the jailhouse because he was kind of an undercover cop. So he put me in handcuffs this way, not this way, and rode me to jail and dropped me off for the day. In adult jail at age 11. I never forgot, and I never stole again. My friends in high school and college who wanted like $500 bathing suits, this is pre-cameras, the eat things, there's still shit left and right. I would drive, but I wouldn't go in because I knew what they were doing. My ass was not going back to jail, okay? So there's some things that parents should just do. The other thing they did that was smart was I snuck out when I was a senior and I had a beeper. Do you remember beepers?
Yes.
My dad beeped me the home phone number at like 3:30 in the morning or whatever time. And I was with my boyfriend. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm so dead. I'm going to get the shit beaten out of me. Like, literally. And I deserved it. So we lived on a court. He wouldn't even pull into the court. Like, he pulled in and like stopped at the end of the street and I had to get out and walk. So I walk, and like when you walk to my parents' old house, you open the door and the steps are right there, you know, to go up. My dad's sitting on the steps with his head down. I was prepared, like I had my butt tense and everything. I knew I was getting the belt. And he said, he looked at me and he said, turn the light on. Angela, if our house was on fire and I went in to save you and I died, how would you feel? He didn't touch me. And I'm like, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'll I'll never sneak out again. I mean, he's like, at least leave a note on a Post-it note. Our family communicated by Post-it note. Are y'all familiar with how Target does their marketing? It's kind of creepier than the whole Alexa thing. So I was listening to an audiobook, and the way Target does it is they will purchase lists. It's amazing. Like how, it's like you just start getting coupons from Target, like the stuff you actually buy. Like, it's really cool. They track everything, right? So this 16-year-old girl went to an OBGYN, got a pregnancy test. She was pregnant. She was under, I don't know, maybe she couldn't drive. Can't remember. Doesn't matter. So they start getting all these ads from Target to their home. And the dad's like, why the fuck is Target sending my 14-year-old daughter, she was young. He goes up to the local Target store, like, wants to talk to the manager, as if the local manager really has something to do with it. Clearly, he doesn't understand. And, I mean, he is just cussing, and they're like, we're so sorry, like, this must be a marketing blip, da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, why are you promoting sex, and da-da-da-da-da. Doesn't say anything to the daughter, because the daughter doesn't get the mail, right? She's at school. The girl was pregnant, you guys. Yeah. So that's how he found out, because they had purchased a list from the OB. So they traced it all the way back. So these privacy laws are in place for like big reasons like that. But that's how he found out his kid was pregnant. Anyway, love all these stories. Go off on tangents. So back to email jail. So again, it's a good thing to have different emails. Map your stuff to where you need it to go and prioritize. You can set up junk. You can set up rules. You can set up all these things. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you've been in business for a long time, I mean, you've got to protect your email. And you've got to have different emails for different things. So this service called Sane Later, it's actually called Sane Box. And if I want to see something later, I just train it to go to Sane Later. Sane Black Hole is the best, okay? So, like, I have a lot of friends who are, like, marketing gurus. They send out newsletters and emails literally every day. We all use the same software system. I try to only send things out if it's valuable, you know? Like, they send out funny I don't care what you ate, you know, or that you went to the bathroom. But anyway, but I don't want to unsubscribe from their list, because they subscribe to my list, and you see that stuff if you look at your stats. And so I just drag it to Sane Black Hole, and you never see it.
Okay.
And they don't know it.
Okay.
The other thing, unsubscribing,
You
there are.
have to actually do that yourself, though. Like,
But once it's trained, it's trained.
Okay.
You get a weekly recap that tells you, like, what emails were trained for what. Every once in a while, like, there'll be something insane later that's from a brand new vendor, and we have to drag it out and uncheck it, basically, saying, like, untrain this email. Because I actually want it in my inbox. It's just a fancier algorithm to spam. And it works.
App, or is it
It's an application for your computer. And you set it up, and then the folder, since it lives on your network, the folder will pop up on all your devices, basically.
Okay.
They have to remember to check it, and there's little bubbles that pop up that remind you. But again, like, I love Sane Black Hole for that reason. And then we don't really use Sane Reminders. I know a lot of newer planners that it's just them, and, like, they don't want to blind copy themselves. They don't want to babysit. So you can copy a reminder. So if I send an email to you and I put in the email, like, I think it's like, it goes something like September 2nd at sanereminders.com. So if she doesn't reply to me by September 2nd, it's going to send her another email. So it's a really good way. We don't use it that much. But it's a really good way to remind yourself, to make sure. And it's just, I mean, come on. If you're in the planning industry, you are a glorified babysitter. Let's be honest. So I love Sane Later. I love this website. I basically I just hate email. The way we have to have it for communication. and to cover our butts. But people misconstrue stuff. So sometimes I'm like, let's schedule 10, 15 minutes. Or now, oh my God, I got this new app called Marco Polo. So you have it?
I got the notification when you download it.
Uh-huh. So now it's like if they're like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. It's like an emotional thing. Like now I'll just record myself because me saying it in a sweet voice, like, I really don't think that's a good idea versus like, you're a crazy son of a bitch, like in an email. Like
Typing, I really don't think it's a good idea. It can seem harsh. Yeah.
So I love this app. In fact, I was on this EO retreat recently, and we were all talking about it. And one of the guys, he literally owns, I think, every Sprint store in the South. He's like, all of my stores have gone from $5 million in revenue every quarter to $15 million in revenue, because instead of doing conference calls and texting, now he forces them to do video, and when you see a person and you can see their emotion, you don't get caught up in the, well, did they mean this or did they mean that? So he said it's changed his life. He's actually writing an ebook on it. Okay, so 5sentences.com. I love this. So if you use this, a friend of mine, this all came about because this mom was so mean to me after I can't remember. It was like it was just a freaking meeting. And like I thought it went great, and then she like blasted me with like, you kept us for 3 hours and didn't offer us milk and cookies. Y'all, I keep these emails. And you didn't, I mean, this was a long time ago. And I'm just like, okay, first off, I'm not Starbucks. You didn't offer us coffee. I'm not Betty Crocker. I'm not, like, do you know how many people would kill for 3 hours of free of my time, like, to plan their wedding? Like, are you freaking kidding me? But I felt bad for her, and like, I didn't even know how to respond. I was so caught off guard. And so one of my business group friends, he's like, you need to go to this website and just state the facts. And he's like, take the emotions out of it. And as a psychology major, I knew that there was something way more. This was not me. It was not my fault. It was not my problem. She was taking it out on me. You made me late but it did help me be a better consultant. It was awesome. So I get that email, and then my business friends are like, what's the problem? What's the solution? State the facts. And then also, I say, like, be proactive, send a clear, relevant, and thorough email. If you still get questions, refer to your OFGs, which is opportunities for growth. So anytime, like, on my timelines with my vendors, I always have a wrap meeting or an email or something like, do you have any feedback? What can we change? What can we do better? Blake, one of my best friends is like, can you please just put version 1, version 2, version... And I was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Yes. Like, tell me, if I'm driving you freaking crazy, please tell me. I don't have time to be reactive. So I'll give you an example. This back and forth email stuff, can't stand it. So it's like, let's meet at Starbucks on Monday at 12 p.m. Okay, 12 p.m. Central Time. Which Starbucks? The one on West End. Do you know how many Starbucks there are on West End? Yeah. 13. Which one? Like, you know? And then it's like, some people, like, I don't know what they look like. I don't know who they are. I don't pre-stalk people. Like, I don't know what people look. So I'm like, hey, Amanda, can you, like, put a picture? Like, I have no clue who I'm looking for. You know, so it's just uncomfortable sometimes. So it's like, think ahead. And then every time we do events, like, that's why our timelines have gotten so stinking long, is because everything is there. And you have to potty train your people, too. So when my friends are like, Jay, what time does the cake need to be there? I emailed you a timeline, brother. I don't know. I genuinely don't memorize anything. I don't know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, what time does the ceremony start? I don't know, look at the timeline. I genuinely don't know. Now, sometimes when we're in a hurry, like, I get it, when people are like, I don't have my, I'll look real quick, but it's just like, I don't do timelines for my health.
Correct.
I know what the hell I need to do, which is babysit half the people here. But I love my creatives, so I'm good babysitting. We have a good time together. And we have each other's backs. It's like if someone's upstairs eating and they decide to go cut the cake, but it's not on the timeline until 30 minutes later, and then photo videos like, shit, I missed it. It's not on timeline. It's like, people don't understand how this is a production, like behind the scenes TPAC. So then I'm like, okay, well, we got to recreate that and then recreate that. And how do you recreate something when you totally miss it and all the cake's cut up because it's not fake and it's gone? Then what do you do? Yeah, that's happened before. This is why I'm psycho about don't do anything without telling or asking. Oh, I could tell so many stories, but there is a freaking reason. So if you're getting questions back about like your timeline and your emails and things like that, it's like an opportunity for you to know to be proactive. Like no questions should come back. It shouldn't be like a conversational thing, you know? Every once in a while, we're like, oh shit, we forgot. We should ask that. I don't know. You know, when I'm multitasking and I shouldn't be. Okay, my favorite apps to cut down on email, there's SaneBox. That does cost. Again, love it. Unroll.me. You can unsubscribe. Just be aware that when you're unsubscribing from some things, they do sell your email because they know you're a real person. So that's why I like to drag it to Same Black Hole, because it's like you unsubscribe from all this stuff, but then you get more spam. That's how. Okay? But you can. What I love about Unroll though is not just the unsubscribe feature. It rolls up all your emails that you actually want to get. So I'm going to show you an example. So basically every day at the end of the day, I get a roll up. And it's all the emails that I actually want to get. So I roll them all up. And then Wunderlist. Wunderlist is wonderful. So Wunderlist is a great way, because otherwise I think I drive people crazy by texting. It's like I don't take my own advice, right? So I tell my team, I'm like, don't text me unless it's like really important. Please just put it in the recap email, please, 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 because you lose stuff. There's so many ways to communicate now. If you do not define a process and freaking stick with it, you will forget or something will fall through the cracks. And it's happened to me, and that's why I'm, like even yesterday, I had a client, and she's like, did Amanda show you those pictures of something we needed to order from China? And I do remember you showing them to me. I do. But I was thinking of something else. And then I texted her and I'm like, hey, can you send me those pictures? Because like I kind of remember, but I don't remember. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought I showed you. And I'm like, no, you did show me. But it wasn't in the recap email. So I kind of forgot, right? So it's like, especially like when you're having to run so much stuff in your business, and then you got family drama. And then if you're married and you got kids, you got all this stuff going on in your head. So process funnel into one place. So like every time I think of something, I'm like, oh, okay. So we need to let Bill know something about this.
An app? What is it?
It's an app.
Okay.
So you can have it on your phone. So basically Wunderlist, it's not even in a folder. Not even in a folder. It's right here. One click. And then I go to which folder. So which team member. Amanda's at the top, not just because she's an A. She's the top for a reason. Because usually I'm clicking on me or her, adding stuff to do. If I can delegate anything out, I do. There's so much as a business owner that you freaking have to do, and it sucks. So when there's things that I can teach somebody how to do it, and I can delegate it out and pay somebody to learn how to do it, it's a much better use of time in the long term, like as you grow. Now there's certain things, it's like you got to take it in spurts. Like there's still more things on my to-do list that I want to teach her. It's just you got to prioritize, and one foot in front of the other. Let's get this stuff down. And then it's like you blink, and 6 years later, it's like, wow, you think that you can do everything that I do. Good for you, but you can't. That's life experience. You can't teach that or read a book in 12 months. You just can't. That's why when you find good people, like pay them well, invest in them, find out what makes them happy, and like be an open door. Like,
Is this like just a to-do list?
it's a freaking to-do list on steroids. So what it does is like, so for example, for each of our clients, we have like a little sub list over here, and then we keep our notes here. And it all syncs, all on the phone, all on the iPad. But the one thing about this that I love, like you can sort down here through due date. So like if I really scrolled at all of our lists, like we would kind of get overwhelmed. It's like, holy shit, there's a lot to do. But it's like, let's just look like we got a lot of things to do tomorrow. That's because were in this class today, right? So, and it's not that everything has to be done. We just need to it's on our radar. It's in red because Amanda keeps up. Nothing's in red. But if it pops to tomorrow, it shows up in red, and then you can also star stuff so you know that's important. You can also do remind me at a certain time. So if I need something by noon. Mm-hmm. The only little flaw with this is you've got to refresh it. So it's every time I open it, usually in the morning and at night, I look and I unexpectedly quit, whatever. I pull down and make sure that it's refreshing and syncing. Right now I have 21 notifications and it tells me everything that's been done. I never look at this. Why? If they aren't doing something, it's going to show up in red. See, there's I have a red thing here. Look, mail was due yesterday. Oh, I got the address stamp. I ordered the cart. It's not here yet. So everybody has to, you really should tag dates to everything or it never gets done. If you have a project, especially when you're working on the business, not in the business, I would never finish books. I would never launch new sales pages. I would never launch new classes. Look at my calendar from last week, mostly blue. I have a ton of blue last week. All the blue, my entire Saturday and my entire Sunday from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m., except for letting my dogs out and walking to the door to get food and peeing, I didn't move. I have to be disciplined. I have to put this stuff on my calendar or it's just not going to get done. And you have to make things you would never miss a client meeting, right? If you see it on your calendar, you wouldn't miss it and you're definitely not going to move it. So why not do the same thing for yourself and for your business? So if you want to work out, put the shit on your calendar. Now it's flexible. I'd like to go to the 5:30 class, and then if I don't make it to the 7 o'clock class, then I'm going to have to do this shit on my own. But I need to do it. We just keep putting it off. So it's that's why I really try to live by my calendar, and I look ahead, and there's just only so much time in the day, right? But I love, love, love Wunderlist because even though our fancy, expensive software has all these little things built in, it's more than 2 clicks on the app. It's not easy on the app, and we're not at our computer all day, every day. So I need it to be easy. So I've got planners that are I just want one software that does everything. I'm no, you don't. Because if the software goes down, guess what? You're screwed. And then you panic. So it's actually a good thing, in my opinion, that we kind of spread things out a little bit. I know it may take craziness to run it. I have old books back there for the top apps. But it's I think we use 32 a day to operate paper. But once you know what you're doing and you know your process, it's so much.
It's 4 o'clock.
How cool! You set it up.
I just turn the volume off too.
I love it. Yay! But also, this cut way down on emails too, emailing back and forth. And if you don't tell people and have a process for them, they're not going to know. So you really have to kind of learn this stuff as you go.